Hi and welcome to the Review Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's original animated series Glitch Techs. The show centers around two kids who battle video game monsters that have found their way into the real world. So there are only 9 episodes. If you want to know whether you should spend the 9 episodes watching it, just watch the first pilot. It's around 45 minutes, so it's actually longer than most animated original first episodes. This is the 4th series that Nickelodeon and Netflix have joined forces together to produce an animated series, and this is the first time they're doing a series based on a video game series. And actually the creator, this is the first time he's gone away from CGI and is using Flash, Adobe Flash, and I think it really works. The characters in this are a lot of fun. This series feels like a love letter to gamers. Whether you're young or old, there's so much that they pull from really modern stuff as well, from recent like Ready Player One. Even one of the characters is named High Five, and if you know anything about Ready Player One, you know there are a lot of similarities. The characters that are, you know, experiencing this in-game world within a world that seems to be not quite real itself, which is weird. I'm never quite sure in the storyline whether the world that they're living in is actually real or whether it's Inception and it's a world within a world, because somehow they can influence the world that they're living in with games. So that's beside the point. That's just an interesting take on what's actually going on here. The arc itself doesn't really kick into high gear much in this series. There's a few where it starts building up. It's mostly individual episodic stories of which these two new noobs have to become these glitch techs, they glitch warriors, to stop the glitches infiltrating our world, the real world.
What is real?
And so they become these agents and they have to level up. There's so much to do with games nostalgia in this series, from 80s episodes that reminded me definitely of things like Castlevania and Thundercats, Scooby-Doo. There's a whole world of interesting, fun things that I think no matter what age you are, if at some point you have been involved in gaming, you're going to find something to love in this series. It's also actually really funny. There were bits that I, as an adult, were laughing my head off, and then there were bits where my son, who was watching this with me, was also laughing his head off. And my teen son, was, as he walked in on his phone and mobiling away, because that's the generation now, was dragged in and he watched the entire first episode with us. He was like, oh, this is actually good, and sat down. So it reaches multiple generations, from a 17, almost 18-year-old to a 14-year-old to a very young 40-year-old.
Yeah, I can't understand a word you say.
So if you like if you need a family animated series that's very clean, that doesn't have an agenda to spew across onto your screens, but is just clean fun about a love letter towards gaming, then this is the series for you. It looks great. The characters are well defined and they grow. They have character arcs. Every episode it seems that there's something for these characters to learn. They learn the hard way, as most humans do. We make mistakes and they make mistakes, and then they learn from that and level up. There's a lot of other things that I thought, like from films and games like Scott Pilgrim and The Matrix. There's so much that just reminded me of entertainment media world, and they've pulled it in to wrap it around these characters that I think is it's just a lot of fun. It's like a joygasm to games. Like if you remember Jim Carrey from Batman Forever, sorry to remind you about that game, when he goes, joygasm! That's how I felt when watching this. It's a lot of fun. It's just really easygoing to watch adventure. I think you should definitely give this a go with your family. If you've got kids, if you are in need of something to remind you of something like Ready Player One, or you want to take a break from that boss that's just trying to kicking your ass all the time, you can't get it past, take a break and watch something about gaming that is a love letter to it, because I think this is just one of the best I've seen. I'm going to give it an A. I'm hoping that it comes back with a second season and there's much more arc. The reason why I'm not giving it an A+ is because I think it's lacking a bit major arc development. Apart from that, it's a lot of fun. So hopefully there's a fan base for this and it picks up, and Nickelodeon and Netflix will do a second season, because I think it's definitely going to get a fan base. I'm looking forward to where that story goes. What are your favorite animated series and your top animated characters, not anime? I'm interested to hear it. I grew up watching a lot of animated nostalgic animation series like a Brave Star and X-Men, the original ones, but there aren't a lot for me that compare to those. But recently, the stuff that Netflix have been putting out, if this is the way they're going, or Kipper and the Age of Wonder Beast, if this is the way they're going, then I think this generation is in for quite a treat when it comes to new animated series. And I think between the two generations that are separated, like me and kids, they can come together as a family and watch this. Yeah, chat to me. Which are your favorites? I'll chat to you in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.